Day 2 started from waking up too early, so I ripped some of my spare clothes into sheets that I can use as bandages later. Then I moved all of my items into the shelf, keeping just the essentials I will need for the day. Then, despite I hate wasting time in the CDDA challenge, I can't safely fight in the dark without a flashlight. So I just fast forward to 5 AM. First thing in the morning, I checked around the base for the 3 zombies I was fleeing from yesterday. While circling around the house, one of them went inside the house and jumped through the window to reach me. I was almost certain he didn't initialize the grab attack, but I was wrong. In fact, as soon as I turned around the corner, I got hit. Luckily, I managed to not take damage from this. Then I baited him to the next window that I used to easily dispose of this troublemaker. To my surprise, he had a juicy beef jerky to share, plus a belt. Finally, I can hold weapons on it, if actually I find any. The same Zed had also a pair of work boots that not only have 100% bite and scratch protection, but also offers a massive boost in insulation needed for the winter. Anyway, I didn't know where the other 2 zombies went, so I decided to double-check the house where I met them yesterday. But a larger group was waiting for me near the burned house. With no weapons, my only hope was to risk it and fight inside the looted house. So I went there and opened the window for them. While waiting for them, I read a few pages of the foraging level 1. But a few moments after, the fastest one came inside, only to be killed by my mighty boots. The next 2 was too close. In fact, despite I managed to kill the first one, it took 2 stomps. Therefore, the second pushed me away. After a little bit of struggle, I was able to deal with this one as well, while the last one of the group lost interest in the pursuit. I found him just chilling near the other house. Finally, it was somewhat safe to loot the burned house. On first floor, all furniture was destroyed, but at least the salt on the ground didn't disappear. From the looks of it, the basement had a lot of crates, but unfortunately they were all burned down. You are never safe to loot in CDDA Challenge. In fact, while leaving the basement, another zombie came inside. After dealing with him, I noticed that a cupboard survived the fire and a bottle opener was inside. Will be handy when I will get my hands on some bottles to open. Second floor also was in the same state, but I still found a marmalade jam on the ground. Some bleach I can use when I would want to clean something, plus a good literature to fight bad mood. After that, this house was cleared. Next, hiding behind the trees close to the road, I stumbled upon a group of 3. Using the fence to my advantage, I took them one by one. Checking the surrounding, I noticed a few buildings to loot. But my attention shifted to the 2 wrecked cars on the edge of the crossroad. The first one was unlocked, but nothing was of my interest on the seats and the glove box. On the other hand, in the trunk, there was a screwdriver I can use to disassemble furniture and electrical devices. A rope I will need for carrying logs, plus a garbage bag for rain catchers. The second car was locked, and despite I still didn't possess any weapon that I can use to safely break the windows, I risked it and used my elbow instead. Luckily, I didn't get hurt in the process. After unlocking the trunk, I found a cigar on the seat for special occasions. But the best loot was hiding in the glove box. Finally, a flashlight, a spare battery, a red pen, an adhesive bandage for emergencies, and even some twine required in many crafting recipes. After looting this treasure, a zombie approached the car. It was too close, so I switched sits and get out from the other side, so I can deal with the troublemaker using the fence. Then I checked the car trunk and finally found a ratchet wrench I can use as a weapon, plus a garbage bag for the bright future plans. After that, I dealt with a zombie that heard me opening the trunk. Finally, it was time to equip my belt and attach the new weapon I just laid hands on. Then checked the house to the right. Once I saw the boards on the windows, I knew that this is the best chance I had of surviving the helicopter event without actually being forced out. Plus, boarded windows means that it's a survivor house. They always hold a lot of good loot, often worth almost a dozen of houses you can check in CDDA. Inside, there are always zombies, so I made some noise in order for them to start breaking the barricades from inside. Next, before they come out, I needed to clear the perimeter. The noise I made banging on the barricades was enough to call them to me. First I was reached by the too fast one, followed by an average walking one. This had another belt for me to collect. Despite I have already a belt, I never say no for more, mainly because I can convert them into leather strips. Plus it had a pair of great boots. Then I wanted to fight the two approaching enemies, but changed my mind as soon as I saw another two emerging from the forest. So I got close enough to one of them in order to trigger the chase animation. Then I went behind the building hoping to lose a few on the barricades. After dealing with the chaser, I was glad to see that some was interested in barricades, considering that only one came after me. But this made things worse because the last plank snapped, allowing the zombies inside the house to get out as well. To my delight, the two inside was fast. This allowed me to defeat them separately. The next four was walking at different speeds. This helped a lot to isolate them and kill them one by one. While checking the corpses, another one came from behind the house. Beside all this trouble, the zombies had no useful loot. After double-checking the house perimeter and finding another enemy to deal with, finally was time to get inside and see what treasure I stumbled upon. Using the just obtained wrench, I removed the broken glass from the only way in and climbed inside. The first shelf already was looking promising. Despite in worn condition, it had an iron pipe I can use as my main weapon for the time being. A schematic to make a garden fork head, a broken long handle and an empty bucket. While inside the clothing dryer, there was some spare clothing in perfect condition. Next, in the first kitchen shelf I found a fruit juice. Then before checking the rest, I needed to deal with a zombie breaking an upstairs door. It was pitch black up there, but luckily I already had a torch. This allowed me to find out that the problem was a closed curtain. Opening it lit up the surrounding. Was time to check the rooms. Bathroom was clear. In the bedroom I found one zombie, while in the clothes storage, a couple was probably banging for the last time before turning. After dealing with them, in the clothing room I found some spare shirts in perfect condition. Nothing useful in the bedroom. While in the bathroom beside some garbage I found a plunger I can use as a weapon and a mouse trap if I need emergency food. Plus some more sleeping pills in the cabinet. I moved out all of the garbage and deposited it in one of the corpses. Next I deposited all of the spare clothes I collected so far in the clothing racks. After that, I was eager to check out the basement of this place. But instead of loot, I found a zombie that was trying to sneak on me instead. Disappointed in it, I went back to the ground floor and checked the bookshelf. The best item inside was a magazine that teaches how to make metal sheet and cut it down into 4 small metal sheets. After depositing my literature inside that shelf, was time to check the last hope I had for this place. The kitchen cupboards. This allowed me to find another lead pipe, 2 more schematics, and a small knife in the first. A box of sparklers I can use for crafting and an empty bowl for my veggies and soups. Plus 2 more mouse traps and a recipe that teaches how to prepare an onigiri. In the third I found a dented unlabeled can of food. Plus a recipe to prepare delicious biscuits. While in the last cupboard there was 2 knives, a milk chocolate bar, another schematic, and some yeast. I told before that survivor houses usually has 10 times the loot of a regular house. Well, this is CDDA for you. This is actually what you can expect from looting 10 houses with rare loot. Then next 30 minutes I spent moving the Zed's corpses on the first floor down to the basement. Exhausted from that, I spent the next 2 hours reading some pages of Foraging Level 1 to recover my breath. It stopped after 6 PM because there was not enough light to keep reading. Minor inconvenience introduced with Build 42. Well, I went upstairs, moved the chair to the roof outside my bedroom, and kept reading for 2 more hours until the dark actually kicked in. To pass the time and avoid going to sleep too early, I decided to reorganize the loot in the base. First, I removed all items not related to first aid from the bathroom. Moved all the schematics and books in the bookshelf, beside the Foraging Level 1 I was reading. Reorganized the kitchen cupboards by placing cleaning substances, garbage bags, rope, and twine in the first cupboard. Bottle opener and all the bottles including the empty one in the second. Canned food in the third, kitchen utensils in the oven, cooking ingredients in the next cupboard, while actual food I can eat in the fridge. To finish in the bedroom left cabinet, I placed some useful junk, while in the left side my spear weapons. Finally, after marking this building as my new safe house, it was time to finish the second day with a good comfy sleep.